video is intended to describe a lightblade wand named Terra Nueva, also known as New Earth. Joining me today on this in-depth tour will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map for visual reference guides, as well as this white leather which will be installed atop of this with prominent badging seen right here, which of course will all be described in turn. But first things first, I'll be discussing the primary blade band scaffolding, which vaguely resembles a figure 8. Going up this leather right here has handbands seen like here, going all the way up here to this primary blade band ignition sequence, then recirculating to this lateral band, and so on, vaguely, once again, resembling a figure 8 for perpetual recycled energy in a closed-loop reactive circuit. So I'll discuss the transmutation blade band ratio first things first as a foundational preface, consisting of both hematite and smoky quartz seen right here in the exact ignition sequence like so, also seen underneath this leather of lovely celadon and forest green variety, running all the way down here to this lateral band right here of the transmutation ratio. And this band under here, of course, runs and grounds into here. Then this main engine band, if you would, will run the transmutation ratio of smoke quartz and hematite in ignition sequence to be this part of the figure 8, which works as the energetic scaffolding for the entire energy currents recirculation. And why this has been named the transmutation ratio and has been used rather religiously in my life's work is for a very good reason. Hematite right here has a very strong iron-based grounding of energy, pulls all stray energies through the root into the Earth stars and into the Earth meridian matrix for reprocessing, as well as smoky quartz in conjunction being a tremendous transmuter of negativity into positivity by having a way of, just like hematite, to ground all the excess energy through the root into the Earth stars, into the Earth star meridian matrix for reprocessing. So the two of them together is what I consider the transmutation ratio to provide a very strong purification by having a strong arc bypass into the earth for energetic dialysis reprocessing, which is very advantageous by itself, obviously, to have a very strong reprocessing arc to work as an etheric layer of Teflon, if you would, to, of course, ensure the ground contact patch is always grounded to Mother Earth, for also, of course, within an exotic range of frequencies to bring tangibility and coherence and grounding into the earth, to simply make the magic real. So that'd be the transmutation ratio running, once again, up this handband, this lateral band, this handband as well as this main engine band, this lateral band, to be this part of the dominant primary blade band circuit. Which, of course, the idea of the figure 8 perpetual momentum is to take all the exotic frequencies yet to be mentioned and run them through a perpetual sequence, which, of course, will recirculate, and all these other frequencies will generate vibrational compound interest in a closed-loop reactive circuit. But, and so I'll be discussing the primary blade band of what is intentionally designed to be the New Earth Terra Nueva frequency. So starting off right here, there's clear quartz as a neutral acceleration of the energy straight into moss green agate. Agates and jaspers in the mineral kingdom are very stable varieties of whatever terrestrial elemental correspondence they emanate with. And so moss green agate is the most stable green ray water elemental heart chakra stimulant in the mineral kingdom, which is very, very advantageous. By having a strong stabilization of the heart chakra in heavy dominance brings a very stabilized heart chakra emanation. And so why that's important with the New Earth project, Terra Nueva, is also to have the conjunction of these particular frequencies in the primary blade band, which is, of course, the intentional designation's primary energy focus, seen in this particular blade band circuit. Going into rutilated quartz, golden rutilated quartz, which works as a massive accelerant of other energies, which is clear quartz with rutile inside of it to super intensify the whatever current runs through it. But what's very advantageous here is that it's dramatically intensifying the most stabilized heart chakra stimulant mineral kingdom. So intensifying the stability of the heart is not a bad thing in any shape or form. particularly in conjunction with this other primary component that truly is of the essence for the designated intention. So rutilated quartz going into Moscarnega to supercharge the most stabilized heart chakra stimulant into the lovely golden healer quartz seen right here. Golden healer quartz is a fantastic gold white light source Christ frequency emanation alignment. So the aspect of why this is so critical in this conjunction for the New Earth portal, if you would, is to super intensify the stability of the heart in conjunction with the source resonance. So when you have the entire blade magnetic sequence igniting like so, with the Moscarnega to stabilize the heart in the terrestrial sense, which brings great stability to the natural, human, obviously 3D morphic field, in conjunction with the acceleration of the frequency into the Christ celestial source energy of creation, that brings for a tremendously, at least I'll say it theoretically for dissertation's sake, powerful way to be a stabilized portal of divine energy in the terrestrial realm. So that the aspect of the high heart stimulation of the gold white light is stabilized into the terrestrial physical domain in the most stabilized variety to, of course, stabilize the entire vibratory pitch of gold white light Christ frequency into the earth range, which essentially would be denoted to be a potential portal to heaven on earth, the New Earth portal. So I believe that'd be enough dissertation for the primary blade band scaffolding, which is the primary focus of what, of course, indeed would be the crystalline components to back the archetypal concept of Terra Nueva, which is a very intensified source alignment to the physical realm through the most stabilized heart chakra. I can't, of course, say that enough for the importance of this first part of this dissertation is, once again, the terrestrial stabilization of the heart chakra in the most prominent octave possible, in conjunction with the extreme acceleration of that frequency into the source emanation alignment of central part of creation, goes a very long way for honoring the intensive, ambitious endeavor before me. So that would be the primary blade band scaffolding. Once again, the transmutation ratio to bring extreme grounding and purification, and of course, an agent of tangibility for the rest of the exotic platform. Then the stabilized New Earth frequency as the primary blade band focus. So before I discuss the individual components seen like so, I'll discuss, of course, continuation-wise with the blade band scaffolding. This would be the abundance ratio on the brass polarity of projection or output, as well as the intake silver of yin right here of the same exact ratio of the abundance ratio. And by the time this video was filmed, this would be March 4th, 2025, there have been 19 renditions of the Abundance platform since very late December and early January. So basically, having this exact frequency makes it kind of a cousin segue to the Abundance platform, which I've mentioned has 19 renditions in short succession in a couple months' time that have been a very prominent big push in the morphic field of my life's work. So of course that abundance ratio makes a very strong intake, output, cousin segue to the other green wave platform of great notoriety in this current timeline of light tech progression, which is pretty cool because of course it ties into the concept of abundance with the further ambitious endeavor of stabilizing the source energy into the terrestrial realm that would be the New Earth portal. So of course that would be the primary blade banding. Now I'll be getting into the complexities of the main heart of the device, or the engine section technically, which will indeed have its own hood, so it could be considered the engine. And this part will take a while because there is quite the vast range of crystalline components to notarize for this section. But I'll be starting off with this star argonite scene right here. And before I go further in individual descriptions, there's a trifecta I've been utilizing for master healer frequencies together that are represented in star argonite, Tibetan black quartz seen under here, as well as seraphinite. So of course I'll be describing them all individually in their due time as my progression continues for notarization. But the aspect of these three, once again star argonite, Tibetan black quartz, as well as seraphinite, are what I consider the triumphant trifecta of master healer stones that work very well together in vibrational compound interest to be very dramatic healing frequency igniters, or I guess fertilizers, to the theoretically perfectly healthy flow of the energy body, which I'll describe more in depth individually, but I will go ahead and stay more focused on what's in front of me. As the video pans out, of course, they will make more sense with each notoriety of the entries of this construct. Star Aragonite is a fantastic calcite-based, full light body stimulant that works very quickly to clear any impediments from the light body from top to bottom, and is very, very effective for expanding the entire luminous aspect of the energy body field, and is truly a master healer to be utilized. Then, I'll go ahead and move on to right here with the Larimar. Larimar is a fantastic 5th and 6th chakra stimulant of both water and fire polarities, and is a great oasis of calm, soothing energizer. Then right here is a nice big dose of rutilated quartz, just like on the blade band up here, to further intensify the octave of the entirety, particularly terminated next to the main Lemurian quartz, which is actually the heart of the construct. So that Lemurian quartz seen right here would technically be the neutral programmable heart of the entirety of the construct, which will hold the natural resonant program of the frequency broadcast applied to it, as well as its own natural homeostasis state, or basically vibrations in idle, if you would. And of course works as the critical component for consciousness-assisted technology concepts, to have the energy of the wielder resonate with construct to run the current of prayers or intentions or natural ambience of the higher self of the sorceress who will be wielding this, to have the compatibility very streamlined with the conscious self. It's very, very rabbit hole meta, I know, so I will, of course, mitigate my digression as much as possible, but there you have it. That'd be the main heart of the construct. Then, right here, actually I did not notarize the entirety of the abundance ratio, so I'll do so right now. So starting off with clear quartz to be a neutral acceleration of the energy into the lovely famous emerald, the king and queen of the green ray abundance royal opulence stones of heart chakra stimulation, classic stone of abundance. Going into rutilated quartz to intensify into peridot. Peridot, essentially the frequency of chlorophyll caught in crystalline resonance of the 3rd and 4th chakra stimulation of great growth, and also of course how all this happens is photosynthesis, chlorophyll, all that jazz. And going into clear quartz, actually that's rutilated quartz once again, into emerald, then golden healer quartz to be the gold white light source emanation alignment of the heart chakra stimulation into peridot. So that exact ignition sequence seen over here is on silver, while this one's exactly on brass, identical as possible, for once again the output intake of this particular abundance ratio that, like I mentioned, has 19 renditions, which is bound to generate tremendous vibrational vibrational compound interest, while the 19 are in distribution at this across the world this time, actually. So that's a nice little stabilized heaven earth segue of that particular frequency, about to fly the nest itself, to live happy ever after with the recipient. Okay. Then right here is a rather critical component, yet rather vast, like discussing the mysteries of the ocean, to fully notarize, but I'll do my best to keep it consolidated and coherent. This is smoky celestial quartz. Much like smoky quartz, a fantastic grounder of negativity into positivity by grounding all the energy in Mother Earth for reprocessing. Yet the celestial format has a particular way of auto-regulating the frequency pitch based on the higher self blueprint for the optimum frequency range at all times, which makes it very situationally reactive for those under the jurisdiction of the wielder. It gets very complex to discuss this concept linearly, so I will do my best once again to keep it simple in the aspect of it working also like a surge protector, which auto-regulates the frequency pitch based on whoever is actually wielding the construct, which will... It's hard not to get complicated here, obviously, in this topic. Will resonate exactly in the perfect harmonization pitch of whoever's wielding besides the primary wielder, which also means the frequency pitch of the entire construct actually will oscillate and adhere to the highest good of the situation of whoever is under the jurisdiction of the wielder is also. Yes, it's unavoidably very complex to describe in a description video, But another way to keep it simple too is it also works as a perfect dimmer switch regulator, like to ensure the frequency pitch of the entire construct is in an optimum comfortable range for the wielder and those involved in the magic, basically. Okay, moving on. So another bigger dose of golden healer quartz is seen right here to be another antithesis of the golden healer quartz seen right here. Because a dose of the gold white light source energy alignment goes a very long way, so it definitely is worth having a heavier dose by the main heart of the construct to, of course, keep the frequency pitch of this lightblade wand into the emanation bands of that of the source of creation, which metaphysically, actually, obviously, is irreplaceable. It's the whole, that puts the source in sorcery right there, essentially. Going into ruby and zoisite, seen here and here. Ruby and zoisite is a fantastic synergistic combination of green zoisite being a tremendous heart-mind coherence enabler, which is obviously very advantageous for those on the path of true metaphysical mastery of thyself into connection to creation. The heart-mind coherence is perhaps the most important bridge to have in any spiritual depth, at least that's my humble opinion. Then you combine the gusto of ruby, seen right there, the quintessential red ray royal chakra stimulant of the root, to intensify the entire zest for life bandwidth with great notoriety and magical belief behind that. That goes a very long way for a dynamic heart-mind coherence with gusto, if you would, which is very, very nice. Then going on to this right here would be Prophecy Stone. Prophecy Stone is actually quite the fascinating pseudo-hematoid found in the Libyan desert, same place as actually Libyan gold tektite, which eventually will be notarized. But this stone is quite mysterious. There's aspects of it that actually have metals that apparently are not on our terrestrial periodic table, which means it indeed has space metal. And the reason why it's called Prophecy Stone, because the rockhound who was out there picked up a piece of this and had an unexpected massive prophetic vision. Hence, the legend was born. Which I will, of course, just stay on target, not digress too much, but the aspect also of Prophecy Stone, being a metal-based frequency, has a very strong grounding effect, much like hematite, to ground all the energy in the earth. Yet this guy also has a very interesting, intense stimulation of the 6th, 7th, and non-physical chakras above the Godhead, which is really fantastic and very powerful for actually taking the high frequencies and, most importantly, bringing them into the earth bandwidth for tangibility, which is the big aspect of my life's prerogative, to actually make the magic real. So that's a great boon to that concept right there, to bring high frequency energy through the earth stars into the earth where she can use it the most, as well as bringing the magic into reality. Then right here, like I mentioned before, was Tibetan black quartz, one of the great master healers I used in that particular trifecta. Tibetan black quartz is a stone from Tibet, so its crystalline matrix is quite interesting, which I will omit the complete intricacies, but the aspect why it's important about Tibetan black quartz is that just like this guy and this guy, it's a full light body stimulant that works to dramatically heal any disparate aspects from top to bottom that would be impeding a full light body flow, with dramatic grounding capacity of the black quartz, and it's also simultaneously great expansion, and not to mention it's from Tibet, which carries that intensive ohm resonance that essentially is the most prolifically energized place in the world, just about probably, with unbroken spiritual lineage of deep meditation in one region. Obviously will leave a vibratory impact in the entire region. So that ohm frequency is very well found in here, which is very advantageous for healing the body from any kind of malignant, disaligned, I guess you could say, frequencies that would be compromising the physical health by healing the light body to an impeccable range of the nerve ganglia that make up the chakra column. Anyway, full light body stimulant, that's very powerful for master healer as well. At times, I must police myself from going on full dissertations on each of these individual wonders of the mineral kingdom, which at times I am not very good at regulating myself from completely nerding out and speaking Christianese. All right, that's a fun little commentary. Now, moving back on to what's relevant here. So I'll be discussing this shot in one segment because they're all critically play off each other for a very intrinsic, purposeful role. Discussing the jasper and the agates seen right here, as well as the blue lace agate over here, which I will get to in a moment. So the agates and jaspers are, just like moss green mentioned earlier, are the most stabilized vibratory outputs in the mineral kingdom based on their color range as well as their elemental composition. So red jasper is the most stable root chakra stimulant in the mineral kingdom with great notarization and utilization for thousands of years, which I will admit. Then going into fire agate, which is the quintessential stabilized fire energy to stabilize the root, sacrum, and solar plexus. They're very much the lower three, zest for life, enthusiasm, passion, energy. Then a nice dose of moss green agate, just like right here, to be the quintessential water elemental heart chakra stimulant, which stabilizes the entire body, since of course that's our circulatory system physically and metaphysically. To stabilize that has a great effect on the whole energy body. As well as blue lace agate seen right here, which is a water elemental fifth chakra stimulant to stabilize the fifth chakra. As well as grape agate, which is a fantastic purple agate that stabilizes the 6th and 7th chakras in the wind elemental composition, obviously being a violet ray conduction. So, the aspect why that's critical together is it brings the aspects of earth, fire, water, and wind in the most stabilized varieties as part of the subroutine of this device, which is, of course, the terrestrial four elements of what would consider to be the medicine wheel of earth, fire, water, and wind. I know it's not how the directions of the Lakota medicine wheel goes, but I get the point. So having the aspect of having most stabilized aspects of the four terrestrial elements in this construct also brings the equilibrium continuity as a basic part of the subroutine of this vibratory output to ensure the equilibrium of the elements is always in balance when engaged in this construct. Harmony equilibrium is very much the quintessential prerogative of the New Earth, Terra Nueva portal. Sorry, there's a hair there. And so that aspect is very well represented there. Okay, so moving on. So right here are two wonderful pink ray frequencies that are very complementary for each other. One being rhodonite. Rhodonite is a lovely pink ray, obviously high heart love stimulation induction, yet the aspect of rhodonite is quite special in the aspect of utilization for a light worker due to the fact that rhodonite has a certain aspect of a linking one's heart, a psychic archetypal link to one's highest path to creation, which goes a very long way. The rhodonite aspect also encourages, through love, of course, for one to I tried to put two words together, sharpen and hone their skills for the service of creation in a very external way, which is truly tremendous and fantastic for the endeavor of a serious aspirant looking to serve creation, obviously, to keep that psychic alignment of one's heart in connection to their dharmic path of what they intended to do while they incarnated here. That's a great gift of rhodonite, and to give the conviction to, once again, sharpen and hone those God-given gifts as service to the collective. Then its cousin, not technically cousin, but vibrationally speaking, would be rhodonite. Rhodonite, just like rhodochrosite, just like rhodonite, is a fantastic pink ray stimulant, yet rhodochrosite is very much the deeper inner work stimulation to heal the inner child in these aspects. So the two together, you can think of the outer love and the inner love being very well represented here in these two lovely pink ray components to ensure that the love frequency of the service to oneself is the service to all, basically. That's how they kind of play off each other in that regard. Then, right here, will be a lovely piece of petalite. Petalite is a clear ray, lithium-based mineral that is very extremely soothing to the 6th and 7th chakras, which would be, of course, another little aspect that would be very conducive to maintaining the mental parameters of the New Earth portal. And to bring a very calm, soothing frequency to this entire device. Actually, this whole device is very stable and calming, so it's just a nice little further dose of that reality. Then right here is the lovely chrysoprase, a fantastic green ray stone that is primarily from Australia, from opal mines, is the heaviest concentration of existence. But anyhow, it's a very nourishing green ray stone. Much, I guess the good way to put it, for me, in my perception of it, when I emanate with this frequency and align with it, it feels like a combination of peridot and emerald. It has that nice third and fourth chakra stimulation. It has a very deep, soothing aspect that brings a lot of altruistic nature to the heart. It's a fantastic, underrated green ray stone that's not as well notarized as it should be, I feel, because it's such a powerful green ray power of loving positivity and, yeah, just generosity, altruism, all things that emerald and peridot would have combined in a certain aspect. It's a particular interesting frequency pitch of the green ray. Anyway, enough of that. I believe, by golly, that would be the entirety of the engine section described right there. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, once this is all notarized, the video is concluded, this white leather will be installed for a very functional purpose more than just aesthetics. So it would be a color therapy white ray resonance, which of course will carry the 7 rays very nicely next to the main engine. B, it'll also be an insulator to insulate the energy through the primary blade bands, as well as be a way to, of course, physically protect all the subtle stones seen right here as it's being wielded by the recipient as she gets out there and gives them heaven. And also D, it works on, I guess last but not least, it is also a nice aesthetic completion to the entire construct, as well as a way to mount these prominent badgings seen like so, which is Vidrisil World Tree set with peridot, just like on the abundance ratio, which is a very nice touch to have the Tree of Life to be, many homages of Astro Above, Astro Below, all those things that nature, yet also in a complementary green ray focus that is very indicative of the new Earth, to grow into the new Earth, if you would. Then right here, a very special piece that took a very long time for me to finally get my hands on for this purpose, is a fabulous piece of labradorite carved into Mother Gaia, the Sacred Mother, with the lovely spiral right here, which of course plays a very obviously very critical role to honor the aspect of the new Earth with Mother Earth, seen right here in a very magical stone and a beautiful hue, a vibrant blue of labradorite that actually even shows very well on the camera, which is very surprising for labradorite. And to be a tremendous wind frequency that, of course, is very powerful in magical connotations, and just like other stones mentioned, discussing the vast mysteries of labradorite is like discussing the mysteries of the ocean, if you would. So I will do my best to keep it consolidated as possible when it comes to this particular beauty, but it truly is a stunning, magnificent piece. The vibrant blues in this are absolutely impeccable. So the aspect of labradorite has a very powerful third eye stimulation, also a very powerful inducer of one's latent cities or psychic gifts to be a high stimulation of one's magic, which is very appropriate for the overture of this design, which is very earthy, to have a nice higher spiritual resonance, as well as it builds a nice light field of energy around the practitioner. Its utilization of magic is quite vast, actually. So I think that will basically cover it for now, because we have much further to go to get through this video. Okay, so that would be that. That would be the hood described, the white leather intention, as well as the prominent badging seen like so. So, like I mentioned, the transmutation ratio seen here goes up this lovely forest and celadon sage green leather, up like so, which has, of course, just like the white leather dissertation, a functional purpose more than aesthetics to be an insulation, and most importantly, a green ray color therapy emanation between the entire construct before it completes its subroutine circuit recirculated. So the aspect, of course, of the two tones of green are very correspondent to the heart chakra stimulation of the green ray. Very complementary frequency to the crystalline structure. Transmutation band going up to here and here. Now I'll be discussing the primary thumb engagement of this entire construct right here. So this is designed to obviously take the thumb and engage it like so. Like that. So at the core of this thumb engagement would be another piece of golden healer quartz, which is of the essence to have that source energy alignment to this ambitious, making it real into earth frequency output. On top of the golden healer quartz would be the lovely legendary moldavite, the quintessential famed green ray stone of the mineral kingdom that is storm energy heart chakra stimulant that is quite powerful and quite in vogue and quite famous at this point for being a dramatic dharmic accelerant to one's connection to the source of creation in a rather intensive way, to put it lightly. So a little dose of that goes a very long way. Then right here would be what I consider to be its gold ray cousin, Libyan gold tektite, a tremendously powerful golden ray stone, Egyptian utilization of the pharaohs for their breastplate, for example, that has a tremendous full light body stimulation as well. It also has an extreme focus on the solar plexus and the sacrum, which would be considered the cardinal fire energy with storm overtones, which is quintessentially the most powerful variety just about of the golden ray of illumination that illuminates the entire energy field as a whole. So as the thumb engagement together, they make for a very dynamic, very potent dharmic accelerant point for the primary engagement of the thumb. And to further contain this entire octave and recirculate it would be the Blu-ray band seen right here, consisting of clear quartz as a neutral accelerant into the lovely legendary lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli, just like turquoise, a stone that is, I always say this, has millions of fans for thousands of years for very good reasons, both these guys. Because lapis, the quintessential Egyptian stone of magic utilization, intrinsically linked to Isis, has a strong connection to the 5th and 6th chakras of true notoriety and royalty, window mental composition, into clear quartz, into Larimar once again, the lovely 5th and 6th oceanic stimulant, extreme soothing, calming frequency. Clear quartz into turquoise. Turquoise, a fantastic First Nation utilized, actually, I take that back. Turquoise is very well utilized across the world, but if I discuss the entire ramifications of that, this would take 15 more minutes. So, to keep it simple, turquoise is a very fantastic 5th chakra stimulant of the earth, fire, water, and wind, focused through the 5th chakra, which is quintessentially a stone of truth, which is very, very powerful. So the three of them together, this trifecta, is a very effective higher truth stimulant as one engages who they are and their higher self configuration into the conscious self, quite simply. And it also makes for a great antithesis for this intensive, stormy, high-frequency stimulation energy to bring a soothing truth to the aspect of the purpose of Terra Nueva, the new Earth. And next, I'll be discussing the components of the blade facing seen right here. I'm going to put this book back, which are as symmetrical as absolute possible for the matching continuity of the vibratory output as I possibly could do it with my bare hands. So starting off right here, the quintessential pink ray stone of the love frequency, rose quartz. A lovely, thank goodness, very common pink ray heart chakra stimulant in the mineral kingdom, which has a nice dose right here of that pink ray of love. Then going into seraphinite once again. Seraphinite is, just like I mentioned 2 times before at least, is one of the trifecta of master healers I employ together in this triumphant trinity to be a tremendous seraphic frequency induction. So obviously its beautiful green ray connotation has an obvious heart chakra stimulation, yet it's a full light body stimulant as well from top to bottom with seraphic energy imbuement, which works very well to dismantle any patterns of dis-ease from top to bottom, particularly in the trifecta of these three, where they have the same stimulation points, where they work as a full light body healer from top to bottom, which basically makes them a quintessential master healing frequency to be utilized in a circuit, if you would. So that's, of course, an amazing frequency that's very, very dynamic and is perhaps my top 5 favorite crystals to be utilized, which is a pretty ambitious statement considering this last half an hour has been an in-depth rant about the crystalline frequencies in a configuration. So that being said, it's pretty ambitious and for a good reason. Its versatility and healing practical utilization is something I find to be irreplaceable in my life's work. So having a lovely big heavy dose of that incredibly healing earthy frequency right here goes a very long way for the new earth portal. Then right here is scoicite. Scolecite is what I consider a white ray stone quintessential divinity to be a fantastic 6th and 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant that brings extreme soothing to the mental self, which is very, very advantageous for maintaining one's higher self, witness self-perception at all times, with the higher truth of one's divine perception being firmly, obviously, anchored into the conscious self with this frequency when in play. So that's a perfect white ray yin to the yang. Actually, not really, they're actually both kind of yinish in their own way. But anyhow, complementary white to the black would be basalt black lava rock, which of course is formed from volcanic activity, which would be denoted to the meridians or veins of Mother Earth at large, circulating energy born from fire, and a very powerful volcanic energy, which is primordial energy of Mother Earth, essentially, caught in stone. Then moving on to a very special variety of serpentine called infinitite. Infinitite is quite the lovely variety of serpentine that's become rather rare these days, but the will of the force has a way of providing me components I need for various projects. Infinitite is a very fantastic serpentine Kundalini stimulant for the entire light body, except the special variety of infinitite also brings a certain decrystallization to the lower 4 chakras, as well as the 5th, of course, but as a way of depatterning any true impediments from the light body as a whole, which, like I mentioned 5 times now, works fantastically with the typical trifecta of master healing frequencies utilized with star organite, Tibetan black quartz, as well as seraphonite. As well as it has a certain seraphic frequency pitch to the infinitite as well, so these guys are actually pretty close to being cousins right here, these two, which is very, very nice for full light body insulation. Oh, also the other fact too about infinitite is that it makes for a fantastic insulation energy of divine healing that also works to defrazzle stray energies from bombarding a high conscious parameter, which is very advantageous for psychic sensitive individuals. I do forget to mention that in those dissertations, but now, better late than never. That's another aspect too that plays a critical role in a construct, is to insulate and defrazzle the energy field of a psychic bombardment ratio, basically. Okay. Then at the very tip right here, the very apex of the blade, would be oceanic white calcite. So white calcite by itself is a fantastic, rather underrated frequency, I'd say, based on a fire energy configuration to be a white ray full clear of stagnant energies from top to bottom, which is pretty nice, but very common, so it's overlooked quite often for metaphysical purposes. But the aspect that makes this particular specimen quite special is that on the Oregon coast, I gathered this myself from the ocean, so it means that it's been tumbled by Mother Ocean for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. God literally knows the truth on that one. But the point is, this stone has been polished by the ocean to leave an indelible mark of oceanic clearing imprintation on an already clearing construct, which brings the clearing capacity of the ocean set in stone, which is really nice. Okay, so what's left, of course, is discussing the focalizers, the selenite, and the kyanites, where it gets quite meta for this section. So anyone that's made this far, I ask you please bear with me when it comes to these deeper metaphysical aspects of these implications that get quite taxing to the rational mind, quite simply. Okay, here we go. So, selenite, seen right here. Selenite is a fantastic master healer in its own right, and is also a fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th, non-physical chakra all the way to the Godhead stimulant that makes successfully a very powerful two-way connection to the higher self and the conscious self, which by itself is its own reward. And the high-frequency stimulation of that kind of divine connection also can burn off stagnant energies from top to bottom of the auric field, making it another master healer in frequency terms. But the aspect where they always shine in light tech of all kinds in spirituals is the capacity to take this entire, since it's not a closed-loop reactive circuit on this main vein of copper, brass, and silver spooled together, that'd be the primary wire of the entire construct, which would be the central connection for all these frequencies, is running that around here. The selenite brings a purification through the entire closed-loop reactive circuit. It also brings a harmonization to the entire construct, as well as an amplification. So we take the trifecta of purification for all the crystals mentioned in nearly 40 minutes thus far, then the amplification of all these crystals, then the harmonization and equilibrium, perhaps most importantly, to bring order and coherence out of all this, is what makes this trifecta so a triumphant trinity. That might be enough teas for one dissertation. But that's a big aspect too, why I say for last, as a quintessential capstone to give a kind of a big dissertation at the end of the entire concept thus far of why the selenite is so critical in the governance of the energy pathways of the lightblade wand, or talisman, or any of the lightblade constructs for that matter. Plays a critical role. So right here, this gets rather meta as well. As a disclaimer, this would be black kyanite, orange kyanite, green kyanite, and blue kyanite. Okay, so kyanites are the most rapid transfers of energy in the mineral kingdom, hence their utilization, the four spectrums easily available to me, are heavily represented here. Oh, one second. I gotta take a sip, get a frog in my throat from all this. Okay. So, the black kyanite works as a fantastic surge protector of excess energy to the root chakra into the earth for reprocessing. So the aspect of black kyanite is very important as a grounding agent that auto-calibrates the required frequency pitch to maintain a ground into the earth. This is where it gets very meta to discuss these transferable concepts. But the aspect of black kyanite brings the energy very firmly through the root, into the earth stars, into the earth meridian matrix for processing at a very quick rate, perhaps faster transference than anything in the mineral kingdom, which basically ensures the algorithm always has a strong ground point into earth when wielded, which is very advantageous. Then the orange kyanite bridges the sacrum to the highest configuration in connection to one's dharmic template in real time very quickly for rapid transfer of energy. Then green kyanite makes the transference of the green ray heart chakra intake and output to a very high premium, which actually transfers the energy of Mother Earth, Father Sky, the whole deal very quickly through the system in real time. As well as blue kyanite stimulates the third eye, left and right hemisphere neural pathways to the optimal configuration, which is the seat of the siddhis or psychic gifts. So the four of them together making such rapid transfers of energy that are designed, of course, to keep the optimum range of one's highest self in connection to conscious self, indeed in the forefront of perception, brings a very fast, rapid transfer of energy, which can be also considered another layer of etheric Teflon to rapidly disperse, transmute, and keep the optimum range of the ideal energy field when engaged. At least that's the long drawn-out explanation, while trying my best to keep it coherent and sensical, because I know, of course, this is quite the vast subject to discuss linear and irrational in a description video. So that's the aspects of the four kyanites to be the most transferable aspects of the energy. So the aspect, too, of why that's important is actually, of course, this entire figure eight structure as restricting energy brings transference through these focalizers, which is designed to engage the thumb like so, and with my tree buddy back here, be able to discharge the energy into the trees. For example, as a quick little kind of demonstration. So that's why these focalizers play a critical role in lightblade wands as well, is to take the excess figure eight focus of this energy and then give it a directional focus, much like the crosshairs of the blade itself would be the directional current of the quartz point seen right there to indeed discharge energy output or impulses of vibrations. So the aspect right here of titanium aura quartz seen right here plays a critical role. Even though it's a man-made alchemical mineral from roughly the 80s, it plays a very powerful role in light tech in general based on the titanium frequency, which is on top of quartz, which serves as a tremendous full rainbow light body slim from top to bottom, which further insulates and intensifies the auric field to a very high premium that makes it more difficult for weaker, lesser frequencies to disrupt the continuity, which is very strengthening to the entire rainbow light body activation. As well as it being terminated back to Lemurian clear quartz, just like the main heart of the construct, work as a fantastic, beautiful neutral resonance that can be, of course, charged with the rest of the figure eight frequency for intentional broadcast or prayers. Alrighty, and the wood core itself, of course, actually is cedar wood from my backyard. And that would be the entirety of the construct, I believe, well notarized at this point. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Nope, that would be everything. So the big summary of the Terra Nueva, also known as New Earth, is to be a very comprehensive device. Obviously, it covers every single bass octave with the primary focus of the heart chakra stimulation, the most stabilized format, with the source energy to transfer into the physicality to, of course, ground that frequency pitch into the earth is essentially the big prerogative of this construct, with many exotic variables to assist in this joint endeavor to make it real. And so that's what this is basically it. After 45 minutes of straight ranting about this crystalline structure, the big concept here, of course, is New Earth, Terra Nueva, is to, once again, very important, to stabilize the terrestrial energies of the ideal heart chakra configuration, most stabilized format, with the source energy in alignment, to bring the transferability of high heart source energy into the most stable format, and then to, of course, ground it into the earth, is the big idea. Well, I believe that'd be enough of a dissertation for Terra Nueva, the lightblade wand. Anyone that has watched this, I pray you have a beautiful day, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.